God created the creepiest thing Eastern brown snake on the sixth day of creation. On the sixth day of creation, God created the creepiest thing Eastern brown snake. God created the creepiest thing Eastern brown snake on the sixth day of creation. On the sixth day of creation, God created the creepiest thing Eastern brown snake. I'm high priest Aaron Levi Tabernacle God. I'm high priest Enzo Abe Levi Tabernacle God. I'm high priest Aki Abe Levi Tabernacle God. I'm Sonny Best Sons. I'm Sonny High Priest Aaron Levi. I'm DJ Aki Abe Levi. This is the House of Abe. This is the Gospel Good News of Jesus Christ. This is Bam Bank of Sonny. Gold Bar Purchase. Song title Creeping Stings Eastern Brown Snake. This is Game Theater, Sony Music Games, Everlasting Covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh, Level, Creeping Sting, Eastern Brown Snake, Game Phase, two of every sort. We're in the ark with Noah, Noah's wife, Noah's three sons, wife. This is DJ Akiabe, and we're watching DJ Akiabe Goes to Heaven.
We're gonna upload this at June 14, 2024 at 4:21 p.m. Thank you. Yeah, so I want to clear some things up. I do not think that Shinzo Abe is a terrorist. I do not think that Aki Abe is a terrorist. I do not think that U.S. General Randy George should be trying to kill me so that the presidents can own my church by saying that Shinzo Abe or Aki Abe is terrorist and I'm terrorist for being a church owner and wanting to go to the tribe of Judah in Japan or use my United States passport to fly to Japan and build my church with my congregation, which are the presidents of each country today, and establish my band with who's number one on earth. I'm required to put my money with who has the most money on earth. And it was streamed through the technical analysts of the FBI that Sony was the number one company. They're trying to illegal quarter and make some scam up that if anybody in the United States of America buys a Sony PlayStation, then the United States Army shows up to their house the next day and kills them. And that's not right. Sony PlayStation, Sony Entertainment, it is one of the number one companies in the United States and on the world. Sony recording artists, the musicians, they sold over 200 million albums. They're the number one sellers on the earth. There's nothing wrong with Shinzo Abe. There's nothing wrong with Aki Abe. There's nothing wrong with Sony. They're not the Japanese military. They're not Nazi military terrorists. They're legitimate business moguls. But the way that these technical analysts from the FBI are trying to spin it as if they are, and the way that the president is overreacting is so that he can get out of the home invasion. And we don't want to give him away out of the home invasion, and we do not want to disobey God and not sit with the head of our family, and not to establish our church and not to put our money with who has the most money. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward with our church inheritance with Shinzo Abe, Aki Abe. We're gonna put up a rest in peace memory for Shinzo Abe, and we're gonna continue to try to move forward as owners with Aki Abe, um, regardless of these terrorist presidents killing their own citizens in order to print their money in a form of counterfeit. Um, so I want to apologize to the House of Abe and to all of the Chinese and Japanese people who had to endure, we had to endure in the court process. But I would like to let everybody know the updates. The United States president has been arrested on unrelated charges. Um, uh, for interfering with the election, and he was in jail. He took a mugshot photo that really happened, and he was convicted on unrelated charges for felonies. Next month is sentencing, and he may go to jail. We've never seen anything like this as far as heaven is concerned. It's the first time that people in the United States of America can tell you the way to heaven. The, the first time in the United States of America that people can tell you the way in heaven. And the first time in the United States that people can tell you how to obtain treasures in heaven. And that's the first time on earth since I've been on earth. Um, and so, yeah, I just wanted to clear that up. We are in the process of getting our passport still. Um, we just removed the serpent. Like I said, one of the presidents might be going to jail. The other president has been impeached several times. He was not physically impeached and removed from office, but there was impeachment hearings. I sat a part of some of those impeachments. So one president was being indicted while another president was being impeached for their role in anti-Semitic hate crimes against the church. As for Shinzo Abe is concerned, I wanted to clear up a lot of different things. Shinzo Abe was assassinated by a person who accused a church leader of taking the entire uh, life savings of his mom. And so this guy originally joined a form of the Navy in Japan and decided that he was going to kill a church leader in order to avenge his mom, who died with nothing and leaving him nothing, having given up his entire life savings to the church. And one day, Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, was attending an event in Nora, Japan, and the guy who everybody recognized as the person who disliked the head of the church, um, the attended the same meeting and shot Shinzo Abe with a homemade gun. This killed the prime minister in the assassination. Um, a lot of people in the United States of America was saddened by it. Um, we didn't know at the time if it was a piracy movie that Donald Trump was using um, to attach snatch our church from us by attaching it to Shinzo Abe and the U.S. military training program scam to go to Japan to avoid the oppression in America, and then to snatch our church by saying Shinzo Abe was a terrorist or some Sony is terrorist or something like that, and the entire Japan is off limits until the president is able to handle his business. Somewhere in that whole scam was people from the Donald Trump organiz- uh, uh, campaign claiming responsibility for that assassination. Rather, they felt as if Shinzo Abe should not have inherited the actual church from God, from the tribe of Levi, the church owners who God gave it to, and actually be the first person on earth to 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 provide trips to heaven to people, um, and um, and his country should be the 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 country that provides the first trips to heaven for people to come all over the earth to the United States of America and not Japan, so that they can go to heaven, get in heaven, and
Good
have treasures.
afternoon. May I
Um,
have your attention, please? May I have your attention,
they claim
please?
responsibility.
The time now is 4:30 p.m. and the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Library will be closing in 30 minutes. I repeat, the time now is 4:30 p.m. and the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Library will be closing in 30 minutes.
Um,
Thank you.
so I had no choice but to inside of this ransom that they had created to provide, the public with the truth that at some point the Trump campaign was claiming responsibility for the assassination, um, but at this point the Trump campaign is saying that they are not responsible for the assassination of Shinzo Abe, regardless if the first trips come from Japan or first trips to heaven comes from the United States of America. The Trump campaign, the 45th presidency, is not responsible for the assassination of Shinzo Abe. So that clears things up. There was a court filing. It was a ransom from Sheriff Livingston, David Johnson, Linda, um, James Comey, Robert Miller, Kamala Harris, um, William Barr, Eric Holder, Jeff Sessions, um, uh, I want to say Paula Bate, George Pyro. These were the FBI and the Department of Justice, U.S. Attorney Generals that was standing by during the entire court fraud murders. um, they filed on the United States President Joe Biden, and they had this weird ransom that went from a fictitious scam that was created from Jim Jones sovereignty in Waco, Texas, and from the Amish sovereignty across the United States of America that went to this sovereignty of this cyberspace and a robot planet where where supposedly um, their crime victim had lived. I'm from Robot Planet. This is the what Kamala told me to tell you. Tell Joe Biden that I was from Robot Planet, my own sovereignty, and then everybody that is on Earth and other planets live in cyberspace, and we travel through the internet, which has an address for everybody, that is. And so for 10 years from 2011 to 2020, she's held on to this, suing herself in the DC in the DC courts and the low courts to DC, from San Francisco to Martinez to Los Angeles to Las Vegas, to DC. And then finally, when she got this U.S. military tour to go to Paris, to go to Germany, to go to Japan, to go to um, um, other to go to Jamaica together. And she seen my slave value and simultaneous earnings. Now she's trying to steal my church. So she goes back to Michael Jackson, going to Japan and working for a company called Sony, and they ran a nickname game using a bunch of rappers from the '90s to taking on nicknames of heads of crime families to now say sit as Shinzo Abe, the head of the country, and work towards going to Japan to uh, and work for the company called Sony. So then, after I set up the church with the ransom of sitting with Barron Trump, who was trying to steal my ID for Trump, um, I set up the church with Shinzo Abe and Sony. And then that's when they all came and robbed me and said, sue Joe Biden, but this time go from cyberspace and cybernet and robot planet to the tabernacle in Tokyo, Japan, where the church was set up for. And then that's when they came down and killed everybody so that they can have the Sony best sound robot that has the way to heaven and heaven with treasures. And then by calling everybody robots, stealing their own ID from their paraplegics. So the president and the vice president had their paraplegics in Osaka, Japan, living as us. The moment we got our passports, they called us robots, and then said that we were stealing our passports from their paraplegics. And then they just used that filing with Shinzo Abe to kill everybody shortly after he was assassinated, but it was unrelated. I'm going to clear that up. June 16th, 2024 at 4:34 p.m.